Man, oh man, is it good to be here. I'm John
What?
Zidar, and you recognize Taylor?
Yep,
Get
I'm back.
used to her. We got her on camera again. Hello, Taylor. Great to see you. Okay.
Sorry about that.
We didn't get
There
to
was an
hear her,
echo.
but we did get to see her. I'm John Zidar from Discord, Penny Boys. We like to talk about hot penny stocks. I put out videos all week, and then we have this live streaming show on Thursdays where it gives you a chance to bring us hot stocks. Hopefully, they're hot. Now, you've given me a bunch of stocks today. Um, I like to say in all of my videos when I tell you about this, get your tickers in early. The show has just started. If you drop your ticker in now, we're not going to get to it. I've already got enough tickers from putting up the placeholder for this, like at lunchtime, so everyone knew to be here. So we've got plenty lined up. And they were coming in early before lunchtime. Mark Ryan brought us a very hot stock. I'm glad you brought this one up. VHAI. That's going to be the first one we take a look at. John Rodriguez, great to have you here, pal. And I'm happy to see you've got a lot of stocks you're interested in. But because we can only get to 7, maybe 8 at the absolute most stocks, we can only take the first one. So if you give me 3, I'm going to go for the first one, hoping that's the one you really wanted to look at. The rest, sorry. MBS, great to see you, buddy. I've been appreciating you
I
following
think
me
I
on
got
YouTube in the
everybody.
comments. What? We hear you. You did do it
Oh,
right.
I said I think we got everyone. I'm starring all the comments so we can be ready. So I can do
Belmore,
that work.
great to see you. Lise, I appreciate your head up on that. I would have not found that information had you not told me to look at the other ticker. So thank you very much. A couple of you did that for me. You gave me extra information, so I was able to do more for you. Brian, yes, Brian, we're going to look at toner again. Now, folks, I got to tell you, I don't think Brian brought this to us last week, so maybe I'm not talking directly to Brian, but don't bring me the same ticker 2 weeks in a row. We've been looking at toner every week virtually, and she hasn't had that much going on. I mean, we'll look at her again. She's evolving. It's like coming to visit your grandchild every 2 days because they're changing. Wow, it's a little too much. So really, if you want to look at the stock, we'll look at it, but we can only look at 7 or 8. And we've looked at this one every time. Not saying you've done anything wrong. I can't remember who brought it to us last week. Royale Fuchs, what's happened with Nicola? We're going to find out. And it's good news. It's great news. Stocks Wizard, that's me. S. Veg Smith, you gave me a great heads up too. I had no information to share with you. And then you told me about Japan. That's all I needed. I was able to run around out there and find the information we needed. You're going to get some bang for your buck. Who else we got coming in here? Leonard Armstrong. We might make it to Crone. I'm not going to guarantee it. Hopefully we will. I have been getting a lot of requests to cover cannabis stocks, folks. I covered Tilray. Tilray got more views than most of my stocks did for good reason. It's a great company. But I also discovered YouTube does not pay me for doing cannabis stocks. It's one of their restricted subjects. So any cannabis stock I do, no matter how many views it gets, I don't make any money. I just lost about $7 on Tilray. I didn't want to make them because it took the wind out of my sails, folks. But I'm going to be honest with you. I really care about you. Cannabis is smoking now. There's a lot of things happening. Germany just went legal. Our country is working on it. The DEA is probably going to reschedule it. I'm sure it's going to be a platform for the presidents. We need to be watching cannabis. I cannot ignore this. So I'm probably going to be doing these videos anyways. So there you go for that. We got some latecomers. I don't mean late, but I mean you're here on time. Idiot Banker, I don't think we'll get to you, buddy. I appreciate you bringing in the ticker. There's that ticker for those of you who aren't going to see it because I'm not going to share it. Wall Street Warlord, where have you been, dude? Been a couple years. Couple years, buddy. You and I need to talk sometime. All right, folks. Joel Ark, I see you there, buddy, with CRCW. Too much dilution? Yeah, but are you in it for the long haul? Or are you in it for the short play? If you're in it for the short play, you take the gains and get out. We don't care what's going on with the company. We're just playing the momentum. I announced CRCW the other day at setup. I said, we're expecting a pop. We did get a pop out of it. I don't know if she's going to keep going. I'm just looking for those pops. Okay, let's jump on into this. I will get rid of this so that you can see everything that needs to be seen. No, not Crone. That was the last one I was working on, trying to get some information.
I have the comment up. I'm already ready.
I am too now. We are looking at ticker VHAI Voco Dia. Voco as in vocalization. Voco Dia Holdings. She finished today at 79 cents, dropped about 3%. Now, this is interesting. She is on the CBOE. What's the CBOE? You know what the New York Stock Exchange is, the NASDAQ. Well, let me see if I can find that for you. Did I bring it up? I did not. This is the first IPO for a stock from the option exchange. The CBO is an option exchange. I think they have 4 different CBOEs or CBOs, and this is one of them. And this IPO'd February 22nd. She came on at about $5.88, and she's been dropping ever since then. And some of the big news is that the insiders bought a lot of the shares on the day of IPO off the open market. They paid the going price, whatever the price was, and they participated and bought a whole lot of them. But still, it has fallen. Now, she's in a good buy place because we've got hot news right now. Let me see. We'll start by talking about what this company is. Vocodia is an AI software company that builds practical AI functions and makes them easily obtainable for businesses on cloud-based platform solutions at low cost, scalable to multiple agent vast enterprises. You know, like say McDonald's. You've got them all over the place. Well, McDonald's Corporation could install this with all their franchises very easily. Vocodia is a conversational AI software developer and provider that offers scalable enterprise-level AI sales and customer service solutions. Basically, what they have is what they call DISAs, D-I-S-As. These are digital intelligent sales agents. These are people who are mechanical. You're never going to know you're not talking to a person. This is a full conversation. You call up to talk about cars, it's going to have all the answers for you. It'll never have to look anything up. Won't have to put you on hold to check. You're never going to have to wait in line in a queue to have your call answered. They can answer like 1 million calls a second or something. It's some ridiculous number. So this is going to be implemented with not only service, but sales. It'll never go off track. It'll never start small talk and wasting time. It'll always be promoting the brand. It is going to be a perfect employee that never needs time off. It will run 24/7 and it will work in 50 different languages. And you're never going to know it's not a person. It is going to sound human. It has emotion. It may even stutter and do a occasionally because that's what humans do. So let's take a look at some of this news we had come out. Vocodia announces phase 1 of service platform installation at dealers of one of the big 3 automobile resellers. They don't tell us. Who are the 3? Ford, Chrysler, and Chevy? I don't know. Installation at 1,800 dealerships. Doesn't matter where they're at. In total, expected, including 1,000 in year 1. This AI software is being loaded up right now, the second quarter of 2024. We're crossing that line right now, coming out of March. We're going into the second quarter. They anticipate all of this to be launching. Vocadia's AI service appointment module for auto dealership provides 24/7 call center support for inbound inquiries, including service appointment scheduling and status checking in over 50 languages. With this program, we expect revenue and profitability growth for Vocodia under its fixed price per location pricing model, with pilot programs for other auto resellers also in process. Vocodia is well positioned to deliver further growth. Vocodia's proprietary AI boasts dedicated phone switches capable of handling 20,000 calls simultaneously, eradicating hold times and propelling the company into a new era. Another piece of information. Let's see. Is there a piece of news here? Yeah, they just did another deal here. This came out on the 28th. That's today. The company launches a pilot program with major utility provider. What it's going to do is help people to change providers. The AI will provide third-party verification for switching energy providers. The company announced it has signed an agreement with a large utility service company to launch a pilot program for third-party verification of switch energy providers. Third-party verification requirements are expensive to fulfill and ripe for disruption from Vocodia's practical AI functions. This is a huge industry that needs streamlining. And as call center experts with many years of experience, we know just how to do that. This pilot is with an energy provider that has over 1 million customer connections. We are talking about 1,000 over there at the car dealership. Now we're talking about 1 million, and they can connect them like that. And others in the industry are watching closely. Now, there was some more news there. What do we got? Phase one service platform installation of car dealer just launched their IPO. It was about $6 million that they got. Let's see. They were featured in USA Today because of what they're doing. And I'm going to tell you that we're going to look at another company today that's doing the same thing. They have an AI conversationaler. It seems to be the new thing. It's like once it comes out, everybody has it. So there's not like really a first mover advantage here. So what's the relative volume around this today? Try again. We're up, let's say roughly 20%, going from 1.5 million to just about 2 million. Share structure for the company is really good. This is, from the IPO, we haven't had any public offerings, no reverse splits. We have 4 million shares in the outstanding. Now, I don't know how many the insiders own. We know they bought some. There is information out there. You can go into the news or the filings. You can get that information. We're not going to do that. They're going to own some, so our float's going to be lower. But no matter how you slice it, we have a very low float. It's under 5 million. So when this stock starts to move and it does 20 million shares in a day, that means every share had to sell 5 times over. But of course, some people aren't selling. They're holding on to their shares. So now there's less shares on the market. This is supply and demand. This is when you can get the stock to start running like it was a short squeeze. But you've also got to remember, it falls just as fast. Market cap, they don't give us anything yet. We could take that total there, 4 million, and multiply it times 80 and come up with what, 320,000? It's 320 something. Let's see what you're doing the math there for me? No. Financials, look at this. So the company was already making money before they came on. 2021, they had $34,000. Not 34. We got to add 3 zeros to this. 658,000 at the end of 2022. I got to remember not to do that, those black boxes. But look, they lost a lot of money. They lost $145,000. Quarterly, though, tells a different story. They haven't made anything since December of 2022. We have nothing on the books here. Balance sheet, well, that's going to be old too. Well, now this one isn't. That's interesting. We have something for June of 2023. That's as far as we get. And because they just came on the market, we're not going to have a whole lot of information here. Cash in the bank, about $92,000. Total assets, little over 4 million. It's a startup company, I guess. Total liabilities is heavier. We're at about 6 million, which means we have deficit in this company already of about 1.8 million. But as day traders, that really isn't a concern. We're looking for momentum. We're looking for a catalyst and the stock to start running, and we're going to be out. So we're not really worried about that. Other thing I want to point out here is the stock promotion. You notice it's in red. A stock promotion is not a bad thing. Lots of companies are promoting their stocks. They get people to write articles about them, what they've done, what they're worth. It's not a lie. It's just an article. It's an editorial. Well, you can do a lot of damage if you're not spreading the right information. And this happens a lot. There's hypers and pumpers out there that put out a lot of false details that start getting spread around, and the stock starts running on false words. So because that potential is always there, they make it a red. They're warning you there's a stock promotion, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. All right. That's about all I got to say for the company, except she's in an environment where she's going to be exploding. And they're going to be taking a lot of jobs. We're not going to need closers. We're not going to need service agents. It's all going to be done on the phone by voices that you'll never guess wasn't human. All right, Taylor, that's your cue.
Okay, so here we go. There's not a lot of information, like you said, because we had the IPO on February 21st of this year. and it IPO'd at $5.88, and now we are at about 80 cents. So if you do the math there, it's lost over 85% of the value since the IPO. That doesn't sound too great, but its all-time low was 77 cents, which I've marked here. But I did mark another area that I found on the 4-hour chart. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart with regular candles, by the way. And so it's between, it's roughly around between 97 and 98 cents. You can see this was support there for a while at the beginning of like the first couple weeks of March. And then we dropped below it and we've hit that resistance. And then we came back down. So it looks like for now, the support is going to be this all-time low, unless obviously we go below that. I don't see anything else that would really indicate that it would go below that. It could, obviously, because we're in a serious downtrend. Let's look at the 1 hour. So you can see this was support. We finally got the 200 because we're on a lower time frame now. But we've hit this resistance area. Let's switch to Heikin-Ashi since we're now on a.
And now that we've got catalyst, that very well could be the floor that you're looking at.
It could be. Yeah, it was 77.
A lot of contracts coming in right now. We're talking thousands, and they even put the word millions of contacts out there with their utilities provider. And they are charging per place, per location. So, you know, once revenues start coming in, the news is already here. So your 200 is flat. You found a floor.
And I just noticed this is the 1 hour chart. And so this support resistance area, support, resistance is right near where that 200 is. So this is going to be a really important zone right here if we can get back up to it. So right now we're right around 80 cents, 79, 80 cents. So it's going to have to push back up here until I find it super interesting. But I do think this could be the floor at 77 cents, but it hasn't been around long enough to really know. So
I think it's definitely watch list.
Yeah. Here's the 15 minute.
She has catalyst. She has potential. She's in the right field. AI.
15 minutes looking pretty ugly, but yeah, the 1 hour looks interesting anyway.
It always is darkest before the dawn, right?
Oh, I like the 1 hour. So this is something to keep your eye on, especially since it's brand new. So we'll move on to the next one. Yep.
All right, let's close up this one and bring up the next one. Sayona Mining, ticker SYAXF. You know, the first when I saw this, I thought the S was a dollar sign, my old vision and everything. And I could not find ticker YAXF, and I was getting frustrated. Then I found Sayona Mining. So this is at about 2.5 cents roughly. She fell just a little less than 1% today. She is safer than a pink because she's on the middle tier of the OTC. The QB, we call it the better tier because you got to audit your financials to be here. They don't audit them on the pinks. You're just getting numbers. These are actually audited. We got fundamentals. You can weigh the company up now. They've got lots of green ticks down here looking great. They've got that verified profile. We don't have a verified transfer agent. I would like to see that. Transfer agents are real important. Just do a Google one day and see what a transfer agent does and wonder why that ain't verified. Independent directors, anytime you list those here, it means you're serious about uplisting. Now, they may still be sitting there if they just came from the pink to the QB. That's possible, but they could be going higher. And what I like best about this company so far is they're penny stock exempt. That removes the risk of them being a startup company because it means they've been in business for 3 to 5 years. They have got millions of dollars in assets or revenues during that time period, and they've kept up with their financials. They've proven that they're old enough to take care of their own business. They moved out of the house and had no problems, so they're looking good. So what is the mining company about? Well, they tell us here that they are an Australian company. Sayona Mining Limited is an emerging lithium miner with projects in Quebec, Canada, and Western Australia. Darn, I wish they had been in the USA. And the reason I say that, we've only got one company that mines lithium in the USA, ALB. They've been around for 100 years. But we've got lots of lithium mining companies. Just none of them have gotten the green light to start mining yet. As much as we need the lithium, they can't get the go-aheads. Well, they got the go-ahead, and they're making money now. And that is the biggest piece of news. So I'm going to jump over here. This came out of their financial. Sayona reached a significant milestone in the first half of 2024 as we generated first revenues following the commencement of shipments of spodumene concentrate from now. I'm not quite sure where now is. I'm trying to figure that out. Now, spodumene it looks like a white quartz rocks, which the lithium is inside. They crush it and they send it somewhere and it gets processed. Now shipped 5 cargoes of this product, 5 cargoes of product this half, totaling 72 KT, whatever that is, spodumene concentrate. Sayona is focused on continuing to ramp up production and optimize unit production costs at now. Now, they give you information here about what's going on, but that's the big thing. They have got money coming in for the very first time. These lithium mining companies are necessary. They're needed. Their products are in high demand. Doesn't matter if it's coming from Australia, Canada, or America. Everybody needs lithium. So they're starting to make money. And I do believe that right there is the money they made. First revenues. They made nothing in December. They made 118 million. That is millions. They tell us up here we got to add 3 zeros behind any of these numbers. I would like to say they made a profit, but they didn't. They lost money. They lost 33 million. But, they just got going. They'll start tweaking things and getting this working off. The other thing, profit and loss, right, equity holder right here. Not too good right now, folks. I was trying to find the assets and the liabilities. I wasn't able to get my finger on that, but I did find stockholder equity, 42 million down. That is a lot of deficit to be holding, folks. And the last piece of news I want to share with you is huge. This came out on the 19th. Now, there's a lot of information in here, and if you're a miner, you're going to love it. They really go into details here. I've just boiled it down to the dollars. They tell us that the company announced today a feasibility study that demonstrates the value of their Moblin lithium project. The project has been estimated post-tax NPV, whatever that is, 2.2 billion. The operation is expected to generate estimated total net revenue of 14.4 billion Canadian dollars. That's this piece of property. It has been estimated to generate $14.4 billion and already worth $2.2 billion. And then they've got EBITDA of $11.2 billion, which is earnings before interest, tax, deductions, and amortization. I hate that word. So it's all great. They've got a piece of property here that exceeds way more than what there's any value on this company. So now we have an esteemed value backed by a feasibility study on top of the fact that they're now making revenues. It's all looking juicy to me. So let's take a look at the relative volume for the company. Jumped. Look, we went from 1.1 million to 3.5 million. People are excited about it. Share structure. Oh my bloody heck. Folks, that's 10.2 billion shares. That is a lot of shares. I don't know what the float is. It could be this. That's not too late, actually. That's January of this year. 8.7 billion, which means the insiders would own about 1.5 billion. Thank God for that. Market cap, even with all those shares, 267 million. Wow. Wow, what a market cap for a company at 2 cents. Holy cow. Financials for the company, we've already looked at that. Disclosures, we got anything current over here? Nothing since 2018. And we've already gone through the news, but there it is for you right there. The positive results came and the financial results. And that's really all we've got going on here, except for they were working on those properties, getting that feasibility study together. So let's take a look at the chart for SYAX.
Okay. Here, let me put my camera back on. Sorry about that. So I'm going to look at yeah, sorry. Sometimes I have to pause. Just give me some grace here.
No worries,
so I'm going to just look at the big picture first. So there's like a few support resistances I'll point out in just a minute, but I want to point out there was between 2020 and 2021, there were 3 really weird forward splits. We got 45 to 44, 35 to 34, and then 1001 to 1000. Very strange. I don't know why, but let's zoom in to the 4 hour on this. So as you can see, we've been kind of barcoding, except for this one big run here, which was in like around the 20 between the 14th and the 20th of February. We've been barcoding between like 2.5 cents and 3 cents. So that's what's been going on here. The next resistance I see is going to be around 5 cents all the way up here because I mean, unless it's maybe here around three, you know, three
Yeah, yeah.
3.8.
Yeah, that's
But
not a real strong one though, is it?
this is not looking really good to me. But I don't necessarily see a head and shoulders. It's just kind of like
What's the
boom.
1 hour look like on that? I'll bet you that
Yeah,
is looking a heck of a lot prettier.
not really.
Not really, is she? She's pulling away from that 200. It finally got flat and she
It's
ran
flat,
from
but
it.
it's way down here. We're between this. Now, the on the 1 hour, the 200 is below this resistance of 3 cents. It's just below it at 0.029. So if we can get up there, there might be a chance to come back up. But you know, when it does, it has a chance to run up to 5 cents. Now, the next one I had was like 12 cents weight, and that happened way back then when. So we're not going to go back that far. We'll just look, you know, because we're day traders, whatever, right? So this is what the 1 hour looks like. You know, we're just kind of barcoding except for this one run. I'm not sure. I was charting two different you know, the same ticker but two different charts. So I didn't hear if you said anything that happened around February. Sorry about that. Must have
I'm
missed
not
that.
what was it? I think I just saw February 14th there as
Okay,
one
so
of
that's
the dates.
okay. So
Let's
that
see.
started that run then.
Yeah, we had oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. God, you got to
As
make
it
sure you're
it
looking at the
peaked at, on February 21st, it looks like. Now that could have been, after hours or pre-market trading as well, and this is OTC, so can't really do that anyway. So, and it looks like
actually
even 4 cents is
the
still up.
15th. The 15th was the first time the company reached out since November. There had been
Okay.
no, so I think
Well,
just hearing from the company got them excited.
that's when that run started then. Okay, so that was right
And
here.
then
That
on
was
the
right here in this
19th,
area.
then on the 19th came out that feasibility study saying that their property was worth $2.2 billion and could generate $14 billion.
Okay,
So
well
that
then that was
explains the
around right here. Okay,
run.
then that was here.
Yeah, man.
So when we hear news, it's going to run. But right now, it's barcoding between 2.5 and 3 cents. Otherwise, because this
Now
happened.
I think now is a good time to consider looking at the stock. I wouldn't consider a position yet, but she is making revenues. Lithium is a hot commodity.
Yeah,
We don't have a lot of lithium mining companies fresh actually making money. There's a lot of them out there, but they're not mining yet. This one is
yeah.
mining. And they've got another one that says it is loaded with lithium, but it could take years before they get to that one.
You
It's
did
taking a
report
while.
revenue just a couple weeks ago, reported a $80.56 million revenue. That was just a couple weeks ago. That was reported on their earnings. So,
Good deal.
but it didn't really do anything. It didn't make the stock
No,
really.
the chart stinks. I'm not going to say the chart
Yeah,
has any
I'm not
life,
saying, yeah, I'm just saying that it did report some revenue. That
but because they do have a lot of value apparently sitting on the table, HNRC likes to do that with their oil. They like to broadcast how much value they have, but it doesn't seem to be helping. It doesn't seem to be bringing the investors in these big numbers, even if they're real. I don't know why.
okay. So we'll move on to the next one.
Next one we can do. All right, let's get rid of this guy and bring up iQuest. iQuesto Inc. She is on the best tier of the OTC, the QX, where you have to tell us everything. You just can't get away hiding anything when you're on the QX. You might as well be on the major exchange. You give us that many filings. So they are the most trustworthy, the most transparent. And you will find a lot of your best companies on the QX. Companies like EasyJet, Budweiser, Nike. These companies are on the QX, and most of your great cannabis companies all on the QX. So iQuest finished today at about 39 cents. She was up 11.5%, and she's got all those same green ticks, except again, she's missed. Oh, nope, she's got her transfer agent, independent directors, verified profile, and penny stock exempt. Boom. This one's looking real good in all those regards. So let's jump into what I found first. Uh-oh, I didn't like that. Okay. We're over here at their website. They deal with a lot of different things. I want to just kind of tag on to it. You can see here that they have different subsidiaries, quite a few of them. What are they involved with? Telecommunications division, including voice over internet protocol, SMS, fiber optics, the Internet of Things, blockchain. They're invested into fintech. They've got a product that gives you everything that you need, a MasterCard, a bank account, the mobile app. And you don't even have to give them a social security number to get all of that. They are working with the electric vehicle division now. We're talking motorcycles, not cars. I haven't seen it. Well, they do say here, plans to launch a mid-size speed car. I was only aware of the motorcycles. And they say they got a metaverse division, but they also like to label that their AI division. So they're doing a lot of things there as well. I think you can get let me see here. They are connected. The blockchain has got them in a lot of different areas. iQuesto is out there. Now, what they're primarily focusing in on is helping, I don't want to call it third world nations, helping impoverished nations, the unbanked, people in Africa, all these countries out there. And that's what their motorcycles are for. Think of those countries that have tons and tons of motorcycles on the road, and you see a couple cars in there. That's where they're focused on in the Latin American market, Portugal, Spain, and the US. And electric motorcycles are going to be just as hot as electric cars. What else did we learn about this company? All right. Looking at the news, they like to talk about their revenues. That's the most interesting aspect. I am looking back here, January 5th, iQuesto shatters 2023 120 million revenue forecast. They actually came in at 140 million. Fantastic. They increased their 2023 revenue by 50%. Fantastic. Then the company announces a deal to become $250 million revenue corporation. Now, did I have that up? I do. Company announced an agreement for iQuesto to acquire 51%. They will have controlling interest of Quixtel. Adding Quixtel to iQuesto telecom division, which includes Itelix, Swisslink, SmartBiz, Whistle, Q Global SMS, IoT Labs, and its B-Chain. The addition of QXtel to iQuesto's telecom division is expected to add more than 80 million in annual revenue. iQuesto management anticipates the combined sales of the two companies to initially generate $250 million, $250 million in annual revenue before the accelerated growth anticipated from the synergies. So they're telling you this is just a starting point for us. 80 million, 250, and we expect to just keep on growing. This is the starting point. So the company has a lot of different divisions they're working in: fintech, telecommunications, EV, and they're making money, and they're in this high populous areas that need their products. So they're doing quite well. Relative volume for the company today was hot. We got over 400% increase from roughly 500,000 shares a day to about 1.7. All right, 400% increase. I said corrected. Share structure, that's not bad. Got about 175 million outstanding, which is just a little over half of what they have in the bank, if you will. Insiders own 8.5 million. We get all the rest. Our float is 166 million. Yes, dear?
I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm just not feeling
Whenever
great.
I hear a noise, I figure you're talking to me.
Sorry. No, I'm just sighing.
But
Sorry,
I live
everyone.
alone. I talk to myself a lot. So if someone's around, they would think I was talking to them. I get it.
I'm
All
here.
right.
I'm here.
Looking at our quarterly reports, did we look at our annuals? Those are our annuals. Oh, those are hot. Look at the revenues, folks. Of course they're growing. That's all they do here is grow. But what is sad? Look there. $93 million at the end of 2022. They only got to keep 1.7 million. I mean, yeah, great. You kept some money. You're over $1 million. But they gave up $91 million to make that. They got to fix that. That's way too high. That's one heck of a cash burn there. Quarterly, wow, same thing. They're doing good revenues, 21, 28, 24, 32, 39. They're getting bigger and bigger. I'm liking that. Yes, the profits are kind of getting bigger. They're bouncing around is what they're doing. They lost money here. We're real low here, averaged out here at about $1 million when they made almost 40 million. So yeah, they are making profits. They are above board. They're making strong revenues, but that's not a great profit margin whatsoever. Let's see what we got on the books. We have about what is that? 2 million? Yeah, 2 million. I don't know why I had a problem with that. 2 million in the bank. Total assets about 18 million. Total liabilities, half of that, 9.5 million. So we got positive stockholder equity here, at least $8.5 million. That's great. I don't think there's any disclosures to consider over here. Oh my God, there's a lot of them. Hopefully these all correlate to news. Results of operations for financials. QSO announces 33 million. That's the other thing I wanted to show you because they jumped away too quick. Back there.
Was anything super recent, like this week?
As I said, the revenues have been increasing.
Okay.
On the 21st, they announced, you can see here, first quarter, 17 million. About a month later, they tell you we're up to 33 million. Now they've given us a new piece of news about a week ago.
About a week ago. Okay, perfect.
They hit 46 million. And they say that's still not the end of it. We've still got a couple more weeks to go.
That's exactly what I wanted to know. Okay, perfect.
So we can see everywhere we look, revenues are growing. Well, that's great. What we want to know is how are you going to increase that profit margin? How are you going to make the most of the revenues you're making? I mean, I don't know if they're still, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why it should cost them so much when you're working with telecommunications. That should be a cheaper industry to work in. Fintech should be a cheaper industry to work in. Blockchain should be cheap. That's all digital. The motorcycles, okay, that may cost a lot of money, but you got to be making more than $1 million off of 40 million. All right, did we cover everything here? I do believe we did. So let's go take a look at the chart for iQuest.
Okay, so we looked at this on February 1st, and it was right here. And all of these lines were already drawn, just so everyone knows. This
Good
I did
time
not draw
to
these.
look at it.
So yeah, so here's what I'm going to show you. And we had all of these supports and resistances, and I drew these before this. This was February 1st. Look, we hit this here, hit it here, hit it here. And then this was the main one that was like 33.5 cents. That was all the way from back here. And it hit it and rose right above it. So this chart looks amazing. And these are regular candles on the daily chart, by the way. So whenever we brought this up, that is a hot stock. So we brought it up and it had closed at like 21 cents. We're now at 38.9.
Just almost 100%.
Nice run.
And
really,
there was a nice
really
bounce
nice
in there too. You could have taken some gains on the big bounce and then caught her on the backside, which is really what day traders should be doing. You need to be looking to make money on the staircase going up. Don't just hang on and ride it. Yeah,
definitely. Always take your profits. But when it comes back down here and hit these supports here, this would have been a great time to pick it up. And then
now,
maybe
I heard somebody say, how do you know when to sell? Whenever you have an abnormal day. When you have way more volume, when it's climbing faster than it normally does, expect that rocket to run out of fuel and come back down to earth. That's time to sell. You don't have to find the ceiling. Just take some gains because when it falls, you're going to end up getting more gains on the fall.
So these are still, these are still regular candles on the 4 hours. So this is the 21st, which you noted was the, the revenue news. And look, we just climbed all the way. If we can switch to Hikinashi, might look at that. It's even crazier on the Hikinashi.
I spit my pop out. That's beautiful.
Right.
That's the idea chart right there. That's what God, stairway to heaven. Thank you very much.
When I was saying, and I remember this being like, oh, we can reach this resistance. We weren't quite there. We didn't even get there after the 1st of February when we talked about it. Man, we just blew right past it this week with that news. So let's look at the 1 hour. Oh my gosh, higher highs. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. All of the EMAs are lined up. This is a good looking chart. My gosh.
But it's also scary.
It is very scary because we're near the top. No one wants to buy at the top.
Right. And that's the problem now is trying to find an entry. It's like as soon as you get in, you know what's going to happen. And you don't want to have that happen for the 100th time. You don't. So honestly, I would be patient. I would be
Engagement with this
thinking
one.
it's going to take a dip. That's what every stock does when it rips.
And that's
When
okay. It's healthy to
Yeah,
have a
that's
pullback.
your buying opportunity. And
Yeah.
normally it will come down to another SMA or a support. And you just watch for that bounce, and that's your opportunity if you believe it's going to still run. Now, I think iQuest is doing well with revenues. Most people watch the revenues, but they need to work on that profit margin. They get that fixed. Oh, God, this company could be hot.
Yeah. So when we brought this up on February 1st and said put it on your watch list, I hope someone did, because less than 2 months later we had quite a run, almost nearly 100% gains
Mm-hmm.
from there. But we would have been taking profit along the way, like you said, because we're smart. So, but that's pretty awesome. I like this chart. I want
What's
to keep an
our
eye on it.
what's
See
our
if we can.
5-minute or 15-minute chart look like for the day traders
Sure. So let's
tomorrow?
go to the 15-minute. It looks really good, just like the 1 hour. Higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. Now we're
That is
just like,
really, it's actually
this,
tempting because she is
yeah.
really respecting those SMAs. And look
Look
at
at
the
this bull
pattern.
flag right here. We are
And right
bull flagging
now,
like crazy.
if you look at every bounce, this would be the buy-in. This is the low point, This is where she goes sideways, hits, and then bounces. Goes
Yeah.
sideways, bounces. So
I mean,
right
look at this
now,
beautiful bull flag. It
if
looks
you
really
believe
good.
she's still going to stair step, that's probably your best zone right now. We've got a few bars already going up, showing she's starting to climb. But I'm always suspicious of a long run coming
I am
down flat.
too. I want to see what happens when it comes back down to this 33.5 level. Because that was one that I do remember specifically marking, saying, if we can get up here, we could run right past it, and we definitely did. So I want to see if it comes back down here, if we bounce back up off of it. I'd really be watching this level right here.
There you go. And how much was that? 34?
33.5 cents, 0.335.
So you may want to watch that since Taylor likes it so much. That could be where it falls after it breaks
Mhm.
to 50. It would come down to there and bounce. That would be a beautiful
It
entry.
could. Yep. Yep. So we'll move on to
Another
the next
one
one.
worthy of the watch list. Thank
Yep.
you, folks. We appreciate Stocks Worthy. All right, you got me up. That is great. This one came from, I believe it was Velmore, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Already got it up.
Velmore brought me lease, and I was looking at lease. I think we looked at lease last week, and I covered it, but I didn't have enough information maybe. And this week, Velmore has given me a heads up, something about a deal in Japan, which isn't, is that right? Is that right? Japan.
That I don't know.
Hold on now. No. She gave me this ticker, RWOD. I couldn't find any information.
Oh.
So let's start off by talking about the company. This company is on the OTC. She's on the pink limited tier, meaning she is late on one or more of her financials. I've already gone through it. She's late on 2 of them.
Which chart are we looking at so I can be ready?
Well, we're going to be looking at lease, but you may want to look at RWOD because that's where she's going to. She's uplisting.
Cool.
So we can't ignore it. But I am curious on what's going to happen with this stock. They did a reverse merger with this company, Strategic Asset, a while ago and just haven't had their name changed. And now here recently, they are in a new deal. So first, let's figure out what a new medical is about. They are a technology and medical product development company focused on the development of therapeutics and diagnostics for a broad range of life-threatening diseases. The company has offices in the US and Spain. Now, what is going on here, not that one yet, is we have that merger. Where did that news just go? All right. In May 2023, Anu announced its proposed merger with Special Purpose Acquisition Company, a SPAC, called Redwoods, ticker RWOD. They are expecting this to close this month. Well, we've only got a couple days left in this month. No, that's not written in concrete. Anticipated means just that. Maybe, possibly, it could happen. So it could happen any time is what they're saying. So whether it happens tomorrow or in the first week of April. Now, what's supposed to happen is that they are expected to be listed on the NASDAQ as Anu, ticker ANEW. Now, here's my concern. We have a stock here that is on the OTC Pink Limited. I told you that she is late on her filings. Well, if you come over to her filings and I kick this out, I don't know where it went. I had this opened already. They are all here. I've already done the homework, so I know where I'm going. I am looking for not when they published it, but for what period. There's September, July, or June, March. That's 2023 covered. Well, I went through all of these. What is missing is March. What's underneath this one? March for 2022 and March for 2021. They're not here. No, they're not laid up here. This is all current. We've got one coming out right now. It's due their next quarter and the annual, but they're due. It's not like it's late. These are late. These are a couple years late, and I don't know why they're not there. Both of them are the March first quarter of 2021 and 2022. So if they didn't get these caught up in time, being on the OTC, they'd be yanked off the OTC and thrown down to the expert market where they will sit and cannot be traded until they get their financials caught up. Once they catch up, they get put back on the open market. It's just a penalty box. But if they get uplisted through this merger to the NASDAQ, this is all moot. Or is it? Fact of the matter is, regardless of what market you go to, you have to have all of your filings complete. So whether they're on the OTC or the NASDAQ, they're going to have those taken care of. How the NASDAQ's going to handle it, I don't know. But down here, this is a problem. Why they've gotten away with it this long, I have no idea. Now, I did kick this out further to see if maybe they were hidden back further, but they're not. They just get older and older back here. So that's the situation on the financials. Now, the company has news over here. RWOD, they got news. This news was not over there at least. Thank you, Belmore. A new medical, a U.S.-based biotechnology company has been granted and issued a patent in China. I think we may have talked about this before, but it needs repeating. China doesn't normally respect patents. That's why they make all the products in China and we buy them and sell them on Amazon because they don't have laws over there. You can make the same product and just put your name on it and they'll do it. No problem. This one they are respecting. This patent is for the use of a new clotho-protein and clotho-gene delivery and expression systems in the treatment of cognition, memory, and neurodegenerative diseases. The CEO tells us obtaining a patent in China was difficult, but important to our global product development programs in the neurodegenerative diseases. The aging population in China is affected by the exact same age-related diseases we're fighting here in the U.S. and in Europe. A new plans to obtain patents in Hong Kong and other Asian markets and seek to establish a distributorship in these markets with companies in Asia that can market and sell our products. So there you go. They've got a patent in China, which is huge. And I believe this is primarily going to be for China. So when this product comes out, the Chinese government doesn't want any fake these products in their country. They're not worried about protecting the company's rights to their product. They're worried about having a product that works and isn't being duplicated worse off than it is. So we've got a patent that came out on March 4th. I do believe that's all the news. I don't think there was any more news here. That was the only piece of news on this. And lease entered definitive agreement. They entered that agreement back in June of last year. So we're hoping it's going to close this month, hoping. And that's really all the news we had here. There has been nothing over here. Relative volume around lease right now, not as exciting as you would think. She dropped from 8.5 million down to 7.2 million shares today. Outstanding share count is pretty high. God, over 1 billion. And the insiders only own about 5.3 million of that full billion. So we get more than 1 billion shares in our float. And and I can't answer these questions either. I've got questions about all this float. What is this stuff going to do? It's going to change. The other company, RWOD, has their own shares. We got shares over here. So there is an agreement. They've already worked it out. I just haven't got to the details of how their shares are going to work out and what the new share structure is going to be. So this may just be moot. Another piece of moot information, current market cap is at 7.6 million. Is this company making any money? Not annually, not quarterly. They ain't making any money. Uh, they got some money though. They got $2,000 in the bank. Woo-hoo. Total assets 2.2 million. Total liabilities 1.6 million. That does give us some leeway here. We got $698,000 in stockholder equity. So for whatever she hasn't got in revenue, she does have some stockholder equity. Now, if I say something harsh or negative about the stock you gave me, don't take it personally, folks. I don't know you. It's not about you. It's about the stock. I realize you may have attachments to it, but I don't mean to offend you. I'm just giving you my opinion the way I see it.
Well, I'm offended.
My opinion hasn't been worth much to many. So, c'est la vie. Let me see. That covers our balance sheet disclosures. We got anything relevant over here? Not since 2022. So the only thing we got to look at are those charts, and that's Taylor's department. And I guess she's got two of them to look at, huh?
My department, I guess. Okay, so I'm looking at the 4-hour chart on LEAS. We looked at it last week. We were here, and I pointed out this 0065 resistance. We did get above that, but as you can see today, we had increased volume, but we were red. We dropped all the way down, and this was during. I looked on, shorter time frame. This was during market hours. This was not, after hours or pre-market trading. So we had this big dip right around noon-ish today, but we did come back up above that resistance line or support line.
What's that dip to? What's that dip go to? 5?
0041 was the low.
Wow.
Really crazy. I don't know where that came from or why, but see,
that's what we're looking for on the last stock we looked at. A break underneath the 50 down to that strong support. It'll look just like that.
Exactly. And it did hit this, and it was a support from before. I mean, it was pretty close. So it's not exact. Yep. It's right around here, and it dipped below that 50, came right to it, and then jumped right back up. So that would have been a great buying opportunity. But I think with something like that, you would need to have your buy orders already set in order to grab that, because once you see it's just they buy it right back up.
Well, so look at the minute chart. Do you have a minute chart?
1 minute? Yeah, sure.
See if that bar is there. Yeah, see, it was 1 minute. She dropped
12:06.
So she dropped and popped in 120 seconds. So you had to make a fast decision and get your order in real quick if you didn't have it sitting
between 12:06 and so within 5 minutes it came up right above that support resistance line. Within 5 minutes,
a lot of that with the penny stocks. You'll see an abrupt drop because there's a huge spread. There's a huge spread on the stock. And it'll go from 30 cents down to 20 cents, but it stays up there. The ask stays at 30. So it'll start climbing right back up. So a lot of times those quick bounces, if you see it bounce back in the first 30 seconds to 60 seconds and come halfway, that could be an excellent opportunity to get in if you're looking for one.
Yeah. So that's what's happening with that. Now, do you want to look the other one?
RWOD.
RWOD. It's a very strange chart. I'm looking at Heikenashi's. This is on the NASDAQ. And it's very, high. You can see how little these candles are until we get to March 5th. And look at this. This is wild.
Well, the SPACs are only worth $10 a share until they close the deal. So if you build up to $12 or down to $7, if they fail to make a deal in 18 to 24 months, all the investors get back their money, $10 a share. So nobody really wants to push it up or push it down in case that happens, but sometimes it does. You could buy it at $7 and the company fail, you're going to get $10 back for every share. But there's some serious activity there. I mean, to me, it looks like the stock is live. That's more activity than most SPACs get before they close a deal. So I'm wondering if the deal is closed. I mean, I think people are getting excited because it's ready to close. Anytime, the end of March. So now people are saying, I'm getting in before this thing runs to the moon. That's the only thing I can guess.
So I guess that must be the SPAC thing, because we don't see a lot of volume, but we see a lot of movement. This is the 1 hour candles. I mean, look how huge these candles are compared to these days.
Yeah, I
Those
guess
1 hour.
anticipation of the closing.
Yeah.
I got to be honest now. When we see a lot of these deals close, these IPO, these mergers, these SPAC deals, God, they crash fast. You get an initial
Yeah.
bounce, and then I mean, it's gone. I'm
I
not
mean,
telling you
same
that's
thing
what's going
happened
to happen.
back last summer. The same thing must have been happening. And then we just consolidated and did nothing. And now we got this. I mean, so I guess this is
Yeah.
anticipatory movement here. So, I mean, personally, I wouldn't be touching this one just because I don't know what's going to happen.
Well,
Yeah,
you
it's,
know, you buy into lease, you're going to end up in this because they're going
yeah,
to move all your shares over. Now, I don't know what the conversion rate is. There may be some
I don't,
information out there. You're going to get so many shares of Redwood, but considering that this stock is what, 2 cents?
no, this stock is $11.
No, I didn't mean this one. I meant
Oh,
lease,
at
the one we're
least
looking at.
is like 0069.
Yeah, so this is an $11 stock. The other one's 006. How many
Yeah.
shares does it take to equal 11? That's going to be the ratio. It's really
Yeah.
going to be chopped down. So if you have 10,000 shares, you may end up with 100 if you're lucky. Something like that.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I'm not real schooled in that kind of area when things
No,
get
this is
converted.
live
So,
and learn. We'll watch and pick up some information now that we're all
okay.
watching it together.
So we'll
All
just
right.
move on to the next one.
Oh, here's a stranger. God, I've never seen this stock before. Have you
I've
seen this
never
stock?
heard of Toner.
Toner, we're going to look at her again, but we're not going to go through everything like we've done before. Toner is working in the digital market. She does a lot of different things, but primarily she's been working on her AI product, which is the other AI conversationaler now. She started off back here in September as a trading assistant. I guess maybe that's one way to get investors to pay attention to your product. She could have been started in anything, but they said trading. Let's do trading. So that gets me and you looking at a trading assistant. Oh, I like that. Well, she has been evolving and we've been following her as she's been evolving. She got herself a name. They call her Maddie. Then they gave her a soul, went over to soul machines. They gave her emotions. So she's not just a cold computer. She's going to sound like she's human, just like the last one. She'll laugh. She'll have tones to her voice.
Aw.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Then we
cute.
got, they had, last time we looked at this, right there, I think we missed it. I missed it. I think it was on the 12th. They were unveiling groundbreaking virtual human project. They were showing us, no, there it is, Extreme Trading Robot. They were live demoing it. And I said, remember to go see this? And it was on my list. I wanted to see this. I missed it. I could have at least recorded it or something to share with you. And then, as I said, Toner One World enhances Maddie's capabilities to be a groundbreaking conversational AI product, revolutionation, business to business customer engagement. Here we go again. It's the exact same product. This is going to be a phone call you're going to come into and you're going to ask questions. You're going to talk to them. They're going to tell you everything you need. And you're going to think you talked to the most efficient human being you have ever talked to. Totally sweet, had answers for you like that. And you didn't even have to wait in the queue to get answered. So they've got the same product as well, folks. Taking a look at the relative volume for the company. Well, before we go anywhere, let's look at the price. 0005. Very cheap.
Yeah.
Doesn't show any movement, but that's how she finished. She may have moved up and down a little bit today. Probably her barcode or picket fence going across the bottom. Pink current. She is current. She's got her validated information. That's all looking good. They say she's a shell risk, meaning she's in business, but she's not making any revenues, which is never a good thing. Nothing on the annual. Come on, baby. Nothing on the quarterly. Well, we had a hiccup here. I think we mentioned that before. We're not going to stick there too long. All right, this is the problem. I don't know. This is from September. I would really like to see the most recent one, please, because there's nothing here. No money in the bank. No assets. Zero. We've got 10.8 million in liabilities. That's on us, folks. Me and you are holding that, not the company. But this is where it gets weird because that was a liability 2 quarters ago. But the last quarter, they tell us it's an asset. Now, there's some new big numbers being thrown up in here, so I don't understand it. But as I said, I'm not paying a whole lot of heed to those numbers because they're just confusing. All I see is no revenues, no money in the bank, no assets. That's a little concerning. And no matter how you slice it, 10.8 million in deficit. Let's take a look at the disclosures. Did we have anything over there? Come on now. Not moving. Yeah, but that's a while ago. That's February 6th. This probably has to do with the financials. One toner runs, pink toner holding shareholder letter. Oh, this could be interesting. Currently, we are actively involved in negotiations with 2 merger candidates, both of which are artificial intelligence companies. We talked about this before. They had found one company that they liked that they said was going to bolster Maddie. And then they found another company that works in AI too. And they thought they were both going to be working real well together. And they were talking about this happening soon. One of the companies is already making $120 million in revenue. So we're anticipating news about one of these mergers to be completed, if not both of them, and start bringing in some revenues. That's the problem here. We're not making any money, and we got a lot of bloody deficit. All right, let's see if there's been any changes to the chart of toner over the last week.
Okay, sorry I'm off camera for just a second, but it's whatever.
I know
So
sometimes we got to air out the chest hairs. I get it.
I'm just not feeling very well right now. So we've looked at this. This is the 8th time we've looked at this. So for anyone who hasn't heard of it, for months and months we were between 0001 and 0002 and just barcoding. We are on the daily chart, and then we jumped up. This is the first day we looked at it. We jumped up to like between 0002 and 3, stayed there. Then we started to run. Then we really started to run after we hit the one that you like, 001. That's your key there. I know you like that.
I do.
And we hit the topped out at 0015, and now here we are today, back down to 0005. So when we look at the 4-hour, does anyone see what I kind of see here? I'll draw it out if you don't see it.
Oh, you like your head and shoulders. Boy, you zoom in on those quick.
Yeah, that's what I see. And we should have recognized it maybe around here. This was, I guess it was on the 29th of February. And we've just still been kind of coming down. So this does look like a head and shoulders to me. All these arrows, I'm just pointing to it because these are the days we looked at it. I think that's hilarious. So I noticed this head and shoulders, and we are just kind of coming down. Maybe the hype is wearing off. I'm not sure, because we've had low volume, from this past week or so, the last few days of this week anyway. So this is the 4-hour chart now, and yeah, we're still kind of like barcoding. Now we're back down here to the
1 hour look like. Is that showing that we're on top of the 200? No, God,
no,
that's looking even worse.
Yeah, this is even more evident, in my opinion.
Yeah. How about 15? I hate to ask.
No, you ask away.
Oh, that's nah. No, it's looking like it's seriously in a downtrend.
It's not looking good, John.
It needs a catalyst. It needs one of those mergers.
We need another catalyst when everyone was really excited about it before.
I tell you, this could be an opportunity, but you got to remember, you buy in now, 0005, it falls to 0004. You just lost 20% of your investment. Now, yes, as soon as she goes back to 0005, and there's no middle ground, as soon as she goes back there, you've got your money back. So you don't panic too much.
No.
And I do think when Tona brings out news about the merger, one of them being completed, this is going to go. It is going to go. I think it'll easily reach 001. I think there's enough people that watch Toner that will make that happen. So I don't like the charts, but we know there's catalyst coming. You can hear the thunder in the background. The storm is coming. So it's worthy of putting on your watch list and watching the volume and monitoring the news and the filings.
Yep. Okay. We'll move on to the next one.
We can do that. Nikola Corporation. We've had enough of Tesla. Nikola Corporation, she finished today at $1.04. She was up over 14%, and she's on the NASDAQ. Gotta love those penny stocks on the major exchange. Free to trade, no transaction fees up there, a lot more volume, a lot more money on the major exchange. And believe it or not, I like all those bloody rules that the companies have to jump through. That keeps it less risky for me. The OTC, they get away with too much because people aren't watching. So Nikola, do you know what Nikola does? Nikola makes 18-wheelers. They've been doing this for quite a while, and they've been having hard times. Nicola's had her good days and her bad days, but she's carried a lot of debt. And it seems to me, and I couldn't find it, I was looking for it. I was looking for an article that was talking about all of these hydrogen 18-wheelers that they had built that were ready to go, but couldn't go. And I think it was like $3 billion worth or something like that. They were just waiting. So the company has had a lot of good news right now. Now is a good time to be looking at the company. Now, we've gotten used to talking about EVs, where you're going to have to start spreading your acronyms. They now have BEVs, which is battery electric vehicle. You have FCEV, fuel cell electric vehicle. This is run by hydrogen electricity. This is run by lithium electricity. And the company's got both vehicles. They've already got both. Now, they've had the hydrogen ones for a while now, but what can we do? We have no hydrogen facilities out there to load up. We're barely getting electric out there, you know? So when we get to hydrogen, which I firmly believe is where we're going to end up, lithium will be abandoned because we're raping the earth. Costs a lot of money to get to it. We got to watch every plant, every animal. We got to watch the ecology. You don't have to do that with hydrogen, and it's amply available everywhere. So ultimately, we're going to get there. Well, when we get there, this company's already ready. They've already got their trucks built and ready to go for those people that have hydrogen. As a matter of fact, Nikola surpasses 200 orders for hydrogen fuel cell trucks. That was just on August 2nd. Startup once claimed 14,000 reservations, but smaller order bank hints at progress. They've been having a problem, but they just now started delivering trucks. Nikola delivers first hydrogen fuel cell truck in the U.S. It's all happening now. But this is the news I want to share with you. What was that? Nikola carried out its first line of production hydrogen fuel cell electric trucks at the end of 2023, delivering 35 such vehicles in Q4. Now, the thing I want to share with you the most is the news that came out. That's it. This news came out just a week ago on the 21st. And this is huge, folks. This is giant news. Don't let the word Ontario confuse you. I was thinking Canada. It's just a name. So the Ontario station, which opened up for operation last month, will be capable of fueling up to 40 Nikola hydrogen fuel cell electric Class 8 trucks, your 18-wheelers, daily. This station is integral to Nikola's strategic initiative to develop up to 9 refueling solutions, set to be completed by mid-2024. They're building themselves a route. You got to start somewhere. I know they've got one for electric trucks somewhere between New Mexico and Arizona. It just goes on this one stretch back and forth, and these companies are making use of that. Well, they got this one down in California. Where is it? Up here, right there. The company, a global leader in zero emissions transportation and energy supply and infrastructure solutions via the Hyla brand, celebrated the grand opening of its inaugural Hyla high-pressure modular refueling station facility in Southern California. So they've got one down there. They want to build another 14 down in that region, and they want to have them all done by mid-2024. Folks, that's some fast building. You're talking over the next 3 months, which means they're going to end up having themselves a run somewhere where these hydrogen trucks that they've already got can start being used, which means they can start selling these hydrogen trucks. They're not only selling hydrogen, they're selling their trucks. And it's primarily going to start in California and work out from there, which is a great place to begin your business. Nikola will provide 24/7 support with the Hyla sites, ensuring a seamless and efficient refueling experience for its customers. This is really exciting to me, folks. I have been watching this company for a while, and it's just kind of been sitting over there in the corner waiting for hydrogen to be made available. Well, they're making it available. We got twice as much volume as we normally get. Went from 88 million, which is definitely not under the radar, to 162 million. Share structure for the company? God almighty for Nicola. Wasn't expecting that. 1.3 billion shares for this NASDAQ penny stock. Don't know what the float is. It could be as high as 1.3 billion, or it could be considerably less. Depends on how many the insiders own. So find out how many they own. You can figure out the float. Market cap. That's pretty good. 1.2 billion for a penny stock. We don't see that very often. Yes, dear, did you have a question?
No, I'm good.
SEC filings, 42 4Bs. All right, let's see. All right, looks like they're going to put some more shares on the market. God bless America. Up to 249 million more shares. Registration statement. I'm looking for the word private, public, direct. There's different types of offering. The publics are the ones that put more on the float. Also, whenever you have warrants converted, that puts more shares in the float. We got this 8K here. Change their accountant. I got that. Looking at that. That's what I look at. As soon as I roll in here, you see me roll in, roll out, and boom, you go, what? You didn't even look at anything. That's all I look at. That's it. So I really am glancing, but when you're doing quick DD, you got to know where to look, get out. So that's what we're trying to do here. Form 4s. These could be good news. Form 4s are filed whenever the insiders acquire or dispose of the company stock. They can get it in a lot of different ways. They can get rid of it too. We want a purchase or a sale because that makes the most sense to us. S is for a sale. You'll find that code right here in the center. S is a sale. P is for purchase. They sold 75,000 shares. They've got 429,000. Sometimes you can get a reason right down here. Represents the number of shares required to be sold by the reporting person. For tax withholding obligations. So it has nothing to do with bad news or somebody being scared. No, they got taxes. And if you see one on that day and then you see a whole bunch more, it means every insider got hit up at the same time. So all of these are probably sales, all for tax obligations. We're not worried about that. That's what they're supposed to do. I do believe that is everything for Nicola except the chart, which I'm expecting to look pretty decent now.
So I looked at a little bit of more of the big picture because I have not looked at this stock in a long time. And for anyone that was trading back in the day around the COVID time, this thing IPO'd at $30.28 in June of 2020. And I remember trading it when it was around $65. I remember trading. Yes. And I'm like, what happened? Its 52-week low is 52 cents.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. So now I'm looking at this like, so I'm so shocked. So you're gonna have to give me just a second.
That's 10,000% down.
It's crazy.
More than that. Yeah.
So, and its 52-week high is $3.71, which sounds great looking at the chart now, but to me, that's just wild because I remember trading it when it was in the $60 range, trading options on it.
Good thing you sold it.
I look sick. I am sick. I'm not feeling very good today. So thank you. Somebody told me I looked sick.
That's not what I said.
No, somebody in the chat.
Oh, did they? All right, who's picking on my co-host?
I know.
Taylor, you look boy. She looks awfully red, doesn't she? You are getting a bit rosy there.
I am not feeling well today. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at the 1 hour.
Real trooper I got here.
I'm here at least. At least I'm here. So yeah, so around, let's see, I guess this was last Friday we started to run. I'm not sure. I guess they were having good news because the volume has been going up and up and up and up. And look, we're stair stepping, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. So I marked the couple of levels off here, and there you can tell it hit it and jumped above it. Next one I see is $1.10. So that would be the next one
And,
I'd be
and,
looking
and
at.
and we're doing the same thing with this stock as the stock we were looking at just a while ago. She's stair stepping up. You've got to be prepared for a dip. Find that strong support or resistance you think she'll break and land on, and that would be your buying position. You know, these are great to see, but they become a little iffy when they get that far along. And you can see the distance between the 200 and the 50 is getting pretty big in there. So I like it. The chart looks good to me. I like the news. I think the news is going to carry this. If they can get up these hydrogen facilities in the next 3 months and they keep bringing out a news press, they said, what, 8 of them in 3 months. So that's like one every 3 weeks or something. So if they can bring
Yeah.
out that news, catalyst, 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 then of course people are going to start buying the trucks since there's businesses that can make use of those refilling stations, and you're going to start getting trucks sold. I think this is the start for Nikola getting back to that $60.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me. Like that's why I had to take a second, like, wait, what is going on with Nikola? I haven't looked at it in so long. I saw it at $1. It's like, oh, it's running from 50 cents. What in the world? Like because I was trading options on this when it was in the $60 range. So there's been no splits or anything. So it's not about that. So I was just kind of blown
Right,
away. But
right.
the chart does look good right now. Looks like it's reversing because I had it on, I think, the daily or the 1 hour.
Oh my God, that's a rocket stock. Oh, forget
Yeah,
all
see what
that
it says
history.
now.
We've seen the history. Oh, she's
Yeah.
getting
So
close to the 200. That's hope.
yeah, we're back on the daily. So, right here, we kind of had that head and shoulders look here, well, here. And it looks like we're now reversing. So that's
Yeah,
good.
well, we broke through the strong resistance, got another one we're coming to, and the
Yeah.
200 is there. If she was not that close to the 200, I'd be worried about a drastic fall. I really would, because that's one hell of a rip right there. But because she's so close, that 200 could have a gravitational pull, meaning the investors get excited and they see there's a possibility of a breakout. She could easily hit that 200, and we could see a wild ride here because this is big news. Hydrogen needs some advancement, and Nikola is doing it. I think this is the first hydrogen facility that you can load up your trucks on. I don't know of any other in America.
I don't either. So there's the chart. We'll move on to the last one or the next one.
Maybe the last one. I see we're at 516 here. Bloody heck, won't be able to reach Crone. All right, I know I got Crone up. That's not the one we were looking at. Let's call this Shum, SOHM, Sham, Sam. I don't know.
SHMN, yeah.
SHMN finished today at 0017. She was up 13.3% today. She's on the pink tier and current. Got all that validated information, looking as good as you can look on a pink. So what is this company about? Sohm is a generic pharmaceutical manufacturer. I think we looked at this company before. That manufactures and produces generic drugs covering all major treatment categories. Global headquartered in North America with manufacturing sites in Southern California. Generic pharmaceuticals were exported globally with a focus on distribution in emerging markets, Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. All right, so what sort of information did we find about this one? Right, okay, I remember. This is the one I was told about Japan. I knew Japan came into the picture. So the most recent news we have is here January 9th. I do have some more information I'm going to share with you, but that's the most recent news. Now we see all the way back here in August of 2023, Sohm signs letter of intent to acquire stem cell disruptive technology and patents. It's called ABBY. ABBY is a big deal. It's gene editing. And this is where we're going. DNA, gene, gnomes. We're working with all the smallest parts of ourselves and restructuring ourselves, trying to make ourselves healthier. On the 14th of November, the company launched a suite of 13 new nutrient brand chewables. You're actually going to get a chance to see those here in a second. Still in November of last year, the company announced CDMO GMP manufacturing facility in Carlsbad, California. Now, I don't think I even opened this one up. I'm not sure if this is actually operating, they're building it, or what the situation is. The company is excited to announce the opening of a new facility in Carlsbad to meet the growing demand for its products. They've got a lot of different products, and I was unaware of that. And I'll tell you why. I was told to look for Japan. Well, there's no information here about Japan. I came over here looking at their filings. There's nothing there about Japan. I jumped into their most recent quarterly report. There's nothing there about Japan. What do you mean? Well, jumped over to Twitter. Twitter had lots of information for me. Starting right here, there are those chewables. They've got chewables. Let me see, I can squeeze that down a little bit. It is the one above it. This came out. I am actually on the Psalms Twitter account getting all this information. There's a lot more information about the company here than anywhere else. So you might as well come over here and start reading. I'm going to share a few of these tweets with you. March 19th, the company is actively exploring, negotiating, and collaborating with several Japanese companies to expand its business. This expansion includes the utilization of gene editing technology called Abby, as well as licensing opportunities. There's a picture of those chewables so you can get your biotin, your calcium, your algae, whatever it is you want. You can eat it as candy now. Very, very nice. They had themselves a conference not too long ago. It was a week ago. We should have seen a bounce in the chart maybe if they do a good job at these conferences and get people excited. Now, I don't know if this was an investor conference or a business conference. I would have to look. If it's investors, go home, talk to your wife, convince her, get your money out of the bank, and boom, a couple of days later, the stock has a bounce. If it's business, well, we should start seeing some sales, hopefully. And then down here, they show us another product that I did not know they had. We are pleased to announce that we have a new stock of levetiracetam, whatever it's called, medication to treat various types of seizures in epilepsy. So they've got a product, so they're making money. That's great. So they've got a lot more going on here than I was aware of, but their biggest thing is the Abby, the AI IP that they just bought and they are working with. Matter of fact, they have just submitted for a patent for what Abby can do. I presume they're going to keep finding more. Once they got Abby, they brought in a whole bunch of new people and started working with new organizations to find the capabilities that Abby could do. And as they're learning, they're submitting these patents, and we just had one submitted. I don't believe it's been approved yet. I believe it's just been filed, which is the start of everything. So what was the relative volume around Shum today? Whoa, that's a nice jump. Looks like about 3 times their normal volume, going from 1.7 to 5.8 million. Share structure for Shum. Try again.
Oh,
Lots of shares. We got 1.6 billion. Insiders have about 330 million. We get 1.2 billion shares. They are way down there on their price at 0017. I worry when they start getting near a penny. So when this gets close, I'm not saying they will or won't, but they could do a reverse split. And I like to tell you this over and over again. They don't have to announce a reverse split if they've already voted on it and approved it. Anytime in the last year they had a shareholders meeting, they may have proposed it and it got approved. Could be
so
like,
they could just reverse split anytime after they voted on it?
yes, it's called discretion, management's discretion.
So a week later, a year later, 6 months later, it could be anytime.
Anytime within a year.
Within a year. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if it's already been approved, he can just use it at his discretion when he thinks it's best. And one day you'll wake up and you'll say, why are my shares gone? Then you'll discover.
But does it mean it's going to happen necessarily, or sometimes?
No, I'm just saying, when you get into a stock that has 1 billion shares, you better go do your DD and see if there's a reverse split. Because if
I'm saying if they approve it, does that mean it generally happens, or sometimes it doesn't?
It's at their discretion. I don't know if it happens every time. I haven't checked all of them.
I'm just curious.
I would presume sometimes it doesn't happen if things get better and things improve. But in this market, shoot, everybody's been given a leeway to do a reverse split. I mean, look at Mullen, 3 reverse splits.
Right. Yeah. I know you hate that one.
Oh, I hate a lot of them. I got 63 stocks that have done reverse splits and taken over $50,000. So I am just letting you know, if you're going to get into a company, you say, I'm going to hang on to this to a penny. Well, you better check, because at 008, he may decide to do a reverse split. I see them happening just before a penny. And I would hate to see that happen when we tell you this is a good one. Do your DD. And if you
Well, I'd
don't
be
want to go through
selling before it got there. If it's at 0017, it's at 008. I'd be selling then.
well,
Before
yeah,
we
you need to tell our investors that because a lot of investors get greedy. They don't take the
No,
green,
no.
they
You
go for the
sell
green.
what on the way up.
Scale out, folks. You
Scale
bought
out.
more as you were going
Yeah.
up, sell some as it's going up. You know, you sell 20% and get your investment back. Let some go, then take some profit. Then, if you want to get crazy, play with free money. You want to try to find the ceiling, see if you can do it. Then, when she starts to fall and you're losing profits, you'll know. You sell while she's climbing. You don't sell while she's falling. Well, I don't know where it's going to go to. Doesn't matter. Pick an exit. You don't have to pick the very last door in the hallway. Any door can get you out. You don't have to go to the last one. All right. So we've got a lot of shares here. Let's see what else we got. We're going to financials. Do they have any money? Hey, they do. We have revenues over the last 3 years, and they are growing. They're not going by leaps and bounds, but we started at 235,000. We're at 347, and our profits are growing as they should be. And we're bringing home close to about 50%. Quarterlies, they're a little dizzy. God, we were at 120 a year ago. We're double that now at 258, but everything in between was crazy. But all that time, they were making profit. Looking at the balance sheet, we got money in the bank, $116,000. Wow, assets are low, under $1 million, 860. Liabilities are above that, 1.7. So we're holding just under $1 million stockholder deficit. Not a good thing in a company. Disclosures, anything to discover? No, that's all old stuff. And I do believe we've already covered the news. I've showed that to you. So let's take a look at that chart now, Taylor.
Okay, so we looked at this a couple weeks ago on the 14th, and here it is. It doesn't look too exciting on the daily chart, but if we go to the 1 hour, looks like we are kind of reversing here after being kind of stuck in this area.
It
And
does.
we've come back up. Yeah, we've come back up to this 0017. But what I don't like about this is this has been like a resistance area, maybe a little bit above that. We have not seen above that since January. So, I mean, it could obviously we can break above that, obviously, but it's been a while. So
I would expect it to actually come back down to that support. The initial break through the 200 doesn't stick, but it breaks the ice. And I would think she did that. She's going to come back to your nice, strong resistance. And then you can expect more of a perpetual bounce rather than that breakthrough. The first one I never trust. No, that's just breaking the ice. I haven't climbed through the hole
like an impulse move.
Yeah, right. Impulse.
Yep. So, I mean, yeah, that looks really good, but we are right at the resistance now. So unless we get that move up above that, I feel like we're going to come back down to at least here, if not down here at 0014, which I had that line drawn from before, and then come back up because we've hit that several times, and that was since like the beginning of February, so last couple months.
What's our 15-minute look like?
15
That's got to be a juicy chart. Oh boy. See, now that's tempting there. All of your SMAs are coming to do their golden crosses.
So we got a golden cross here and here and here.
That could push it right through that resistance.
Yeah, it could. Sure.
Yeah, that would be the turbo we needed, all those golden crosses. Yeah.
Yeah. We got 1 and then 2 and then 3 at least.
Yeah. So Shom isn't looking bad on the charts. We do have catalysts in the works. She's watch list worthy. I keep getting stuck on that.
Just keep in mind right now we are at resistance right here. So just keep that in mind because a lot of times, we'll retest it.
The bounce. I do expect it to dip.
So just keep that in mind because it looks so great, but we are at a resistance point.
Right. Okay, it does look good. Real good.
Okay. So that's it for that.
That's it for that period. We could not make it to Crone. Let me get you off of there and bring us back up. Where'd we go?
Oh, not just me. Where'd you go? There we go. Oh, come back. Stop it.
That's what I get for touching the buttons. I'm not supposed to.
It's my job.
I know. My bad. Okay, folks, we're not going to get to Crone. Crone is a great cannabis company. Crone, Tilray, Curaleaf, Village Farms, Harborside. These companies are successful, folks. They're dealing with some headaches, but a lot of these companies are ready to rip. They're already doing hundreds of millions of dollars a quarter. Some are doing over $1 billion a year, and they're penny stocks. Can you believe that? They're doing revenues of $1 billion a year and they're penny stocks. Cannabis is hot, folks. You need to do some DD because there's a lot of catalysts that are coming up with this. In case you didn't know it, First Citizens Bank just got involved. Banking is illegal for cannabis companies. They cannot put their money in the bank. They cannot get loans. They have built themselves up to a $26 billion industry without any help from the banks at all. They have used their shares as their currency. That's how they built themselves. Well, now the banks are getting in. I do believe that First Citizens is the 9th largest bank in the country, and they're on board, not just with hemp and CB, but with cannabis. They just gave a loan for $2 million to one company. This is the beginning of a big move. Look, folks, when these companies get federally legalized, they're going to get tax deductions. When those tax deductions come in, their bottom line is going to change. Right now, they get no deductions. They pay tax on 100% of their revenues. When they get all those deductions, they're going to have revenue profits like crazy. You want to be in before that happens. Just a heads up. Any last words from you, Taylor?
Nope. That's about it. Sorry, I wasn't feeling well today, guys. I did the best I could.
Being a real trooper hanging in there. You've been smiling through it all, and we didn't hear any disgusting sounds. So it's been okay. Thank you, folks, for being with us. We are at hour and a half, which is the max we've ever gone. A little longer, but
I think, yeah.
So we'll see you next week.
It used to be an hour, and then now we've just been extending.
You weren't getting a lot of stocks covered, and I know I talk a lot, but really, if I only gave 5 minutes to every stock, what would that be to you? I would have to speed talk to cover what I want to cover. If you don't get anything new from me, if I'm not sharing something that you haven't heard before, you're not going to come to me more.
No, I'd rather have the more information than,
I try my best. I'm not the best, but I try my best. And that's the best I could do. Enough of that. See you next week, folks. Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Have a safe and happy holiday, folks. See ya.